number 17, discussion of the American Rescue Plan Act. We have received some requests already, and we'll kind of talk about this, and I'd like to get an idea of what everybody is thinking on these. Through the discussion that we had, I know we had talked about emergency stations. That's different places throughout the county that would be available for people to come to if the electricity's out, if there's a tornado, if there's the water's off, or if there's some issue that for example, when we had the ice storm, you know, people needed to go somewhere to be warm. If you don't have water, you're in a pretty bad situation sometimes too. So, you know, just for various things that might happen, it's not going to be, we don't consider the shelter where people, it's not really a homeless shelter. This is something that just comes into play when there's some type of an emergency in our county. And so if we had, which we have talked to the communities, the Butler Community Center, unless we wanted to put that at a church. Dew was talking about the Corinth Church.
Corinth Church Life Center.
Do you know if they've gotten an okay on that yet? Don't know. Well, they're talking about that.
They were far. They were just going to have a meeting.
Right. Doney would be at the Cottage. Fairfield would be the Senior Center. Streetland, the City Hall, and they have agreed to that. Tig, 8th Avenue possibly, or
First Baptist.
Or First Baptist.
Let's talk about it amongst themselves. Get back to it.
Yeah, and they're going to decide which one the churches are. Wortham, First Baptist Church, do you know if they have agreed already?
I've talked to them and we've talked about it, and they're in agreement with it.
They are in agreement,
Yes,
okay.
ma'am.
And then possibly Freestone at the community center. Would we need one at Doney and at Freestone?
I don't think Freestone, it's a big area, big parking, big building, people from Tig need to come. It's more set up than anything.
Uh-huh.
Than a church need.
I think we should put one there.
People before Duke can come, I mean, it's covered a big area.
Yep.
I
And
took
if it
them,
really,
Would you want one at Doney too, though?
I think they have one in Doney and Freestone too, but Freestone serve more people out than Doney, you know, I mean, I know it's close. This is a better facility. It's got kitchen and everything, if everything's gonna be held up there.
One of the good things about having it at a church is you probably have a lot of the people that go to that church that would help with the food and stuff, so that would be a plus.
I have a meeting set up, in the process of getting a meeting set up with the pastor at New Hope's church, and the pastor of the Methodist church, and we're gonna get together, have a meeting to discuss where would be the best, who would like to do that, where would be the best place, and also have some other people of the community that are gonna have some input into that. So,
Okay.
and I will get back with you. It's
I
very,
originally thought that it was gonna be at Southern Oaks, but it may not be a large enough area.
yeah, and they said that they might use a little generator just for their fire station, a smaller one, but they didn't need a big one because they didn't have enough room in there.
Okay, all right,
But I had that meeting set up,
okay, all right. So I think that was one of the big focuses when we've talked about it before, would be to put a generator at places throughout the county that would serve, we're trying to think about reaching all of the citizens and being able to spread out the funds among that different areas to help. So that would be then probably 9 generators if we do that. Yeah, but you're not an emergency station. Okay, so we did 9 generators here. And then, I'm glad you're here about that, Sheriff.
You know what size that generator is out there?
No, they're actually down there working on it right now. What info you need, I can run down there.
Just asking how many KW it is. We definitely need to know.
We don't have to know it right now, but I do have you on a separate line item for a large generator. We just need to know about the size so we can get an idea of how much that will be to put in the budget. But yours would, these others, I think yours would probably be a larger generator than
Yes.
what we're putting at these other places. So that's a large generator. Now, at the fire department, we talked about putting a generator at each fire department. And that would be 9, because we have 9 fire stations.
So we're up to 19.
19.
19,
Up
we're
to
at
19. And, I had originally thought if we were going to do a joint dispatch and put elections in the same building, we would need a generator there. But, I don't know if that's gonna work or not, so we'll say that we have 19 so far. The sheriff has requested headsets for the dispatchers, which is about $3,000.
Oh, we got a grant on that the other day for headsets.
No, I was putting it in for,
Did we get some headsets for somebody the other day?
no, I turned it in for this.
Yes, yeah,
Oh,
for this,
19. Okay, can we back up?
yes.
That's 19 generators.
Mhm.
We haven't talked about the water bunch yet.
No, we haven't.
Generator. Are we going,
That's
are
a
we on
different-
generator or are we?
No, we're just on plain generators right now. Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna talk about the water stuff as a whole separate deal, if that's okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I was trying to kind of get it organized in my little mind here, how to, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
What about, Donnie at the cottage, we have, voting there, and, it's gonna be an emergency station, and their air conditioning unit is out. It does the heat and the cooling for that area, so, I'm thinking maybe getting an air conditioning unit there, we could fit within this same thing. Now, patrol cars. They said that patrol cars would come under, we could do that under this grant. So if we could, come up with a number that we would want to do out of this first grant, and then, in the long run, that's gonna alleviate a little on our budget, but if we could get caught up and modernize with our, newer patrol cars, then I think that would be a real big plus to use this money for that. To get maybe 4 this time, and over the next couple of years out of this money to start, having a newer, inventory of cars, and then knowing every year that we're gonna do 1 or 2, whatever we decide, every year, so we don't get back into the same. This
You
is
gotta
over.
do, you gotta do more than that every year, I think,
Well,
because
whatever we decide on in a
if you do
regular budget.
3 with 15 cars, then
Maybe 5 years
nothing's over 5 years old when you trade it in.
Yeah, that'd be fine.
Which should have a little more value to it.
We have a trade-in value, and then we wouldn't have so much repairs.
Well,
So,
while we're on the cars, Chief talked to them about the cars we've already had approved, the other 2
Mhm.
coming. They're not even starting on those until April, so we've already ran into a situation, but fixing vehicles and doing things with vehicles that we wasn't planning on doing since we were getting 2 new ones, but we're probably supposed to spend,
and
what,
about
about
how much is each car?
58, about 58,000.
Okay.
But that was when we got them last time, so I would figure in at least, I'd figure in at least 60 this time, just to make sure you got enough, but.
All right, so if we did 4 out of this, I'm saying about 250.
And if we can get that approved, because we all see how long it's taking to get vehicles, and they're
I
just,
hope we're gonna make that decision today.
yes, because I can call them and see if we can get 6 sent instead of just 2.
Yeah.
That way, when they start working on ours in April, they start working on all of them.
Now, we're gonna have to go out for bid on these through that procurement and policy and
Right.
procedures thing.
Yeah.
But still,
We can't use the buy board on this. or
Oh, we
to use
can't?
it. No.
Oh, that can make a big difference
yeah,
in price,
yeah.
because that's your bidding war right there on the buy
Well,
board.
Isn't it always that way when you have federal money and you have to follow these certain guidelines, that everything costs more?
Well,
Is the entities themselves able to procure those bids for you to look at, or is that something y'all have to do independently?
GrantWorks is gonna write that up, and then certainly you can look at it, and if we have suggestions on how to change it, you know, we can work through them to get that done.
So the reason I ask is anytime, with the hospital district, anytime we make a purchase, we have to get more than one bid. So we typically get 3, 4 bids for everything we purchase. So that, that's not gonna be anything that's out of the ordinary.
Right.
So I didn't know if those were something y'all could use, or if you had to get those independently from the county.
Well, when you look at this policy, there's other stuff that we'll have to do. We have to send it to underserved businesses and
Yeah.
So that's the
minority
kicker. We
businesses.
have to follow the 2 CFR 200 guidelines
Yeah,
to use those federal funds. And so from what GrantWorks told us the other day, that they cannot get the buy boards to clarify to them that they do send a bid out to underutilized whatever businesses. And so because of that, then we have to go this other route of sending the bids out. And you can give us a list and we can send those out, plus we'll have to send it out to, some others, so.
And any company used has to be registered with SAM.gov also.
Yes.
and most of those are already, the ones that are big, but it's just a little different than what we normally do. More things that have to go into that. But certainly, as far as submitting the name of the one that y'all use, we certainly can send a packet to them.
It's historically underutilized business.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Hub.
Yeah. Now, fire,
Back up one more time, like Andy said,
sure.
but on the emergency stations, I got 10 instead of 9.
All right, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, tell me who you got.
Butler,
Mhm.
Fairfield, Duke T, Freestone Dummy, Kirby Worker.
Kirby.
They didn't ask for, did they?
Well, theirs is gonna be at the fire station.
Right, right,
And we
right.
have a different list of,
Okay.
I have a
So
different
it's all
list.
in
Yeah, it's
one
gonna be
bid.
at the.
Okay.
It's all in
good.
one,
Yeah.
yeah. So I'm showing 9 over here for emergencies, and then for fire departments,
Be 9.
9.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Let me see. Oh, that's wrong. Yeah. Yes, 9 fire departments, they're getting generators. And since Kirby's warming, emergency station is gonna be at the fire department, so that would be 9. 9 emergency stations. Wait a minute. Nine emergency stations and 9 fire departments that are getting, that would get generators if that's approved. Now, the fire department, each one of them's getting a generator on the list here. It may change if y'all change the list. But now, in addition to everybody getting that, Butler is requesting a compressed air foam unit that's $32,000. Fairfield is requesting several things. There's a list, I think you have those already. Streetman is requesting SCBA air packs and masks, which is about 50,000. Southern
Fairfield right at, give me Fairfield right at 36,000, 30,
Well, if you take the
33.
TV off,
33 if you take the TV off.
alright, so 33 is what I have on that one. We could add that back if y'all wanna buy the TV.
No.
Streetman, we talked about, 50,000 for the air packs, masks, and miscellaneous things. Southern Oaks is requesting 2 sets of bumper gear, which is 10,000, and a roll-around locker and a computer, which all that totals to 10,000. Now, they're asking for repairs on the fire station. I don't know that we can do that, Karen. Did y'all,
What's that?
Is it our building?
repairs on the fire station? No.
It doesn't matter, it's the way you gotta spend the money.
Yeah.
And that goes into another question. I don't know if we,
If we're gonna do repairs, we'd have to bid out all of
it's
that.
just like when you look at Wortham's, request, to replace a utility truck,
Mhm.
it's 87,000. If, the question is, can we use that money for a partial amount? So we could do 75% of that, and the fire department do the rest, but will Grant Works allow that?
Well, I think we talked about that with them, and I think they were
They were
against it,
Okay.
yeah.
Mhm. So I'm thinking those repairs on the fire station, might not be one that we'd want to, look at, because by the time we get through with doing all the engineering that they have to require to be done on things, it probably costs 20,000.
Yeah.
So if there's something else they might need that we could purchase, it would be probably a better deal. And then T, they want a fill station a fill station that replenishes air packs, is that right? And that's 68,400. And then Wortham wants the truck. So we need to decide what we want to do there. Is everybody pretty much on board with the generators for the emergency stations throughout the county?
Yes, ma'am.
I am.
Get the money, sure.
Yes, ma'am.
We got the money already, we just need to spend it. Fire departments, the 9 fire departments, is everybody on board with doing that? Generators for
Yes, ma'am.
for the fire station, okay. What about a new generator for the sheriff's department?
Yes, ma'am.
Headsets for the
Yes, ma'am.
dispatch? Everybody's good with that? Patrol cars, 4 of them?
Yes, ma'am.
Four of them?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's, to me, that's a
And it's
smart
gonna be
thing.
out of
We'll
the
save us
first,
money
the
come fire
first,
time.
the first set of money we have, and then after we get this done, we can go back and see what we just need to get some things started here. The new air conditioning,
Is that like,
unit,
is that just a winter unit? I heard that.
no, it's central, heat and air. We do both there, and we're gonna use it for an emergency station. Is everybody good with that? I would say that's gonna be less than 10,000 for a unit. I don't have any idea what size it is or anything, but, we're gonna hold up on the AEDs until we get more information about that. Now, fire department requests.
For one of mine, Southern Oaks, they have a computer that appears to be ordered, and it's not a lot of money. And I talked to them yesterday, and their computer is gone, and they have to have one now. I would like to get that put on there so they could get it, because it's the one that keeps track of the records and, you know, all the things that's.
How much is the total of what they're requesting, other than? the repairs?
1,662.
The total of what they're requesting, though.
For the whole thing,
16.7, what they had on to the building.
Without the building,
They can't do it.
Without the
10,000.
buildings, 10,000, and that's what I put here is 10,000 for
Uh-huh.
them, everything but the repairs on the
Okay.
building.
Yeah, but I mean, when can they, their computers down, when can,
They're gonna have to go through the procurement,
okay,
yeah, yeah.
so it'll be a while, it'll be a little
It'll
while.
be fine. So let's talk about that at the fire departments. I think everybody has a little list, you have all the information that everybody has sent. I see a little sticky note over there, yes. Can we agree on any of these things now, or do we want to come back to the fire department, individual fire departments' requests?
I want to write some
You want to think about these
Is-
a little more, talk about these a little more, all right.
Maybe Leonard could get, just, y'all gonna have a meeting tomorrow night, right?
Yes.
With the fire departments?
Yes, sir.
Maybe you can bring us back some more information from when y'all have that meeting.
Okay.
I mean, if
I
that's
think we
okay.
got, I think we've got most of the information, we just need to decide. So y'all think about those. Let's narrow it down to what we can agree on here
I think
today.
the requests are in,
Yeah, we got them right here.
but it's gonna come down to, and like I say, I wanna keep it fair. I would just like to look at call volumes from each department. I mean, when somebody has a definite need, then I wanna see them get it, especially right now while we got these funds.
When you say call volume, what are you wanting exactly?
I mean, just how, as far as the amount of calls that are actually worked, you know, by departments. I mean, do you have an idea of what departments would be would your top three be, could you take 9 departments and put them in 3 categories? The 3 most called, the 3 least called, and at least the 3 in the middle, and would that be pretty?
It'd be pretty fair. I mean,
Mhm.
your first 3 is gonna be Wortham, Tig, and Fairfield. Your last 3 is gonna be Doney, Streetman, Kirtland. And you might be able to throw Southern Oaks into there. And the rest of them are gonna fall right in the middle, Dude, Butler, and Tig. No, Tig's gonna be in the top 3.
Top 3.
So us and Tig ran the most calls last year. Tig and Wortham, let me rephrase that.
You
So
can work
that's,
on it. What about Fairfield? They run a lot of calls.
Fairfield would be in the top 3. It'd be Tig, Wortham, then Fairfield. And then middle would be,
Dude's gotta be there somewhere.
Dude would be right there. It'd be like the 4, either 3 or 4. I'd have to look at the numbers for sure on what they ran versus Fairfield.
Why don't you try to get that from them tomorrow?
I can get it tomorrow.
Yeah, okay. Well, we'll come back to the individual requests for the fire departments then. Maybe we can look at that, maybe have a special meeting in the next few days and try to get that firmed up. Let's look at ambulance requests. T, we already talked about that, about 118,000. I'm thinking we might need to put a little more on that, because by the time it goes through all that, it'll be a little more. Fairfield has requested a number of things: generators for ambulances, radios, stair chairs, compressor devices, cardiac monitors, and then the remount on the ambulance.
Yeah, maybe, for you.
There's a lot of things we could use, but I just didn't know what, I didn't wanna put in a request for so much stuff and,
Well, let's,
I don't know how much money there is in total, and I don't wanna take something
yeah,
that we can get by with right now, and then that come out of a fire department's budget, or something that y'all would approve for them that they need right away. So for me, I'm trying to look at it like the way y'all would look at it.
and I think we're gonna, I'm hoping that maybe we can decide about the remount ambulances today, and then we'll come back with a smaller individual request that people might have.
So one thing I'll say on that, I'm not sure what the process is gonna be for the approval or the spending of that money for those remount. Is like our remount, we've already ordered it and we're fixing to take delivery of it, hopefully within the next 30 days, but we put that order in 2020. It's like the sheriff's they're already running it, there's gonna be some, you may buy it today, but it may be 18 months before you get it, which is why we ordered ours and run into problem after problem after
And
problem.
this may not work for us then.
So I don't know.
Yeah, if you already have it, if you could get the RFP out pretty quick and they could send us a bid, on it, then, but it's probably not gonna be as quick. You're gonna have it before.
It would be great though if they could get 2 fresh bids and get this company to rebid the exact same amount.
Yeah,
Mhm.
If
Yeah.
it falls under,
Yeah.
then we can make it work like
we can
that.
make it work if we can get it done like that.
I mean, we
How long
won't have
do
to
you think
pay
it's gonna
for it, even if we took it tomorrow, I would imagine we'd have a net 30. So I think for that, I'll drive down there and get them to redo the bid today, if that's what it
Well,
takes.
and if we approve this, we may have to go to them and try to see if we can get it out real quick, the RFP out real quick.
And
they
is
probably
that
would work with us.
is that the program or the application you're talking about, where they have to fill it out to be somebody you can use to spend that money with?
That would be through the county doing it, because we're gonna be purchasing it if we go that way, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll just work all those details out. Yeah. All right, so-
But really, people don't need to go out and buy things right now,
Because
because
we can't
that's,
reimburse.
because we can't reimburse, that's the thing. So if, whatever's on their wish list, don't go out and purchase it, because
And we didn't really realize that we were,
We didn't.
exactly, like we were gonna have to have this separate policy and all of that, so. Okay, we'll see about that. So let's talk about the ambulances themselves then. Are we going to do the remount for Teague and Fairfield ambulance?
Sure.
I think we should.
I don't know why one's 118, one's 170 is on Monday.
If they're using Frazier, and I don't know, then that's actually probably not a horrible price if you're going through Frazier. One I got from them before was a little higher than that, on a remount. I know that, we went through Trinity, but we also had, we had looked around at some different options rather than going back to the Frazier company that originally built the ambulance. They're going to be higher, but there are some perks that are going to come with that. They keep a record of the build and they know the schematics of it. You call them, you give them an X117 number, they know exactly what part, every single part there is to know on that truck, and they can get those to you. Whereas, if you go to a private service to do the remount, it's going to be cheaper. And it's just like if you go buy tennis shoes with the Nike check mark, they're going to be more expensive than if you go to Walmart. But at the end of the day, they're probably going to last about the same amount of time. For us, we didn't know there was going to be any kind of help, so we didn't have a choice but to try something
This
new
sound,
and cheaper.
how much is a new ambulance?
Right now, if you were to go to Frazier and get a brand new ambulance, probably about $240. Isn't that about right? Didn't y'all just get one pretty
Yeah, it
recently?
was, 280 for us with what we got.
So you can spec them out anywhere from, I think, absolute bottom, entry level Frazier ambulance is going to be 210 or more, and you can, depending on what you do, you can get them up high as you want. But yeah, I would say that 240 is average going through Frazier.
You need more than one ambulance.
Do we? So right now we have, we bought a van. It was pretty cheap. It's like $80,000 landed. We're using that to do our transfers, which is the majority of our mileage, rather than putting the mileage on those expensive Frazier units. Now those vans will not hold up in a 911, solely used for 911 purposes. So we try to reserve those vans just for the transfers. Now they're adequate and they're capable of going on a 911 call, but we don't wanna do that on a regular basis. With the Frasers, they're built for that. The modules can be remounted onto a new chassis at a significantly cheaper cost than a new one. So that's kind of the idea, is that you're buying something that can be redone a few times before you have to buy a brand new one. For us, we have one ambulance that, our newest ambulance is that van, but like I said, it's not really in that category of, you know, our 911 services.
So you really need 2 ambulances?
At the
within
moment-
Is that right?
Well, at the moment, we have the van, which we do the transfers. Now, our 911 truck has 140,000 or so miles on it. It's a 2015. That's our newest Fraser. So our newest Fraser ambulance is 7 years old.
What I'm thinking is, and I don't know anything about what I'm talking about here, but when you're talking about all the different specs and things, it sounds to me like we're gonna just have to go out to bids for a new ambulance for each. We can talk the grant works, but it, you know, how are we gonna write the specs for a remount that's gonna not limit it to just one purchase place? And that's what they're trying to not do, is just have one purchase, one company that can bid on
It's
it.
capable.
Yes.
So right now,
Now, I may be wrong, they may
on
be good.
on new ones, you're gonna have plenty of options because there's, you know, several different companies that build ambulances.
Yes.
We have, and when I say we, pretty much every ambulance within a 100-mile radius of us uses Fraser ambulances for a reason. They're pretty durable. They do come with a price tag though. However, most of the other ambulances, Wheel Coach, the EMS Hawk or Medic Hawk, they're all climbed up there. They're all very expensive. So if you're gonna go get bids for new ambulances, you're gonna see that they're all very expensive. So, you know, they're gonna all be competitive, that's what I'm saying. Now, on your remounts, that's a different thing, because like I said, you know, typically if you buy a Fraser ambulance, you want Fraser to do the remount. I mean, that just makes the most sense. For us, like I said, the only reason we went with Trinity Apparatus is because at that time that we ordered that, this didn't exist. There was no money, there was no, you know, anything. So we were trying to be conservative to try to do something that we could afford at the time, and we certainly didn't plan on it taking 18 months or more
Right.
to do. So now we're kind of we've had to move that money from one budget to the next budget to, you know,
Yeah.
to try and deal with combat the issues that have come up since then.
You know what I'm saying though? What do you think? I'm listening.
He comes over here with a lean budget, it's forever, don't ask for all. Last time y'all need to handle some people put in for it. Why, we got this much money, we're coming in, we can buy one,
We can.
we need to do it.
We can resell those.
You know, there ain't nobody else in here,
Yeah.
we am asking to be lean, they gonna want the most they can get. I know you shall be no different.
And I'm not, I agree with you, I'm not just wanting to throw the money away, but I think,
I don't think he bid the remount, I don't think he can get a competitive.
right,
One guy's paying his hands $15 an hour on the remount, and this other guy's gonna be higher, cause he's paying his 20, 25. And you're both gonna get the same thing, but I don't think you can get a competitive. He's gonna use something, and this other guy's gonna use
That's
something
what I
a
was
little
trying to
different.
say. I don't know how we can
I don't
do
know how
that
you can
bid
do a
out like
competitive bid on
You
that.
talking about because of the difference in the Fairfield remount and the Teague remount?
no, just
No,
on a remount period.
if you're gonna bid it out to 3 different companies, remount, I don't
It'd be hard.
know if you'll know what you get.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. You know, whenever you do, if you look at our list of what's being done in that remount, that list is not gonna be as inclusive, or I say apples to apples, as a $175,000 bill for
Sure,
Fraser.
sure.
There are gonna be some variations, but for us at that moment, we went with the basic, like, what's gonna get us by. I'd love to go to Fraser and get a brand new ambulance. I'd go put in an order tomorrow if I could, that'd be great, but, you know, we can't, wanting and, you know,
That's what I'm
being
saying.
able to do are two different
Well-
things.
Okay, so if you get the one that you've already ordered, would you still need another one?
Well, based on the time that it's taken to get one, absolutely. It would be, if we ordered one today, it'd probably be over a year before we get it. So yes.
I think that'd be our
And
best.
then you could use the old ones as what, trade-in or?
Well, and see, this thing with the ambulances on trade-in are terrible. I mean, it is just, you pay that much money and you might get $5 for a
Two
trade-in.
regular ambulances for use, then you'd have the transport thing.
Well, we have the remount now,
Uh-huh.
which is what we're desperate to have because we're down to a van and an ambulance, a 2015 ambulance.
Mhm.
That's what we have at the moment that's currently working and operating. The other ambulance that we have is not reliable, but it was traded in on that van. They've been kind enough to let us keep it until they could get our remount back to us. So we don't use it, we use it very sparingly, but it is 260,000 miles of 2009 ambulance. So it's not something we want to get on the road unless we have to. So yes, right now with the remount, you know, we're gonna have that in the van. So within another 18 months, 2 years, yes, we would need a new ambulance.
But your best ambulance is 7 years old, we got how many miles, 140, 50,000 miles on
Mhm.
it? I mean, you have,
Yes, sir. Yeah, we definitely do. And that's why I say with the remount, that's gonna get us,
I ain't talking about a remount, I'm talking about the remount and a new ambulance.
yes. And ideally, in a perfect world, we get this remount and then we would order a new one. But we won't get it for a
Off
while.
of that.
So it would be, I would say conservatively, we were at just say 120, make it easy math on the remount, and then 240 for a Frazier. So
Just give
360,
you just give 285 for theirs.
sir?
We had a bunch of customization and different things added to it for Mahia. That's why ours was so much.
And theirs may have been, had to do with their fire and EMS, so their unit may have been set up differently than ours would.
Put in another way, put it in.
240, I think would be, I mean, if we got $240,000 from this grant to build a new ambulance, I'm gonna be jumping up and down when we get out of here. I mean, so I'd be tickled with that.
Well, actually, what we're doing is we're just gonna be budgeting an amount, I wanna say 250 each, and whatever the bid comes out is what it'll be. I mean, we're just trying to get a little budget
Yes,
here
ma'am.
as to where we are.
Okay.
All right. Now, the way I'm looking at this, and tell me if y'all don't look at it the same way, because we're gonna have a lot of different bids going out. All of these things are gonna, several different things that are gonna be different. If we could get started with the things that we have talked about that we're agreeing on, then all we have left is, we have less left to talk about and worry about. And we can get something started here. So what I'm hearing now is, the generators that we talked about, which includes the sheriff's department, the large generator, headsets, patrol cars, one air conditioning unit, the ambulance requests, and then those, is everybody comfortable with us going out for bids for those?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then we'll come back and talk about the additional fire department requests, the individual ambulance requests, if there are some other, things that you'd want to look at. But I'm pretty sure if we do 2 ambulances, we're not going to be looking at other things for Fairfield or for TIG ambulances. Is that right?
I'll say so.
Is that probably right? That'd probably be so. Okay. And then,
Can I ask a question?
you sure can. I'm just talking. Y'all have to say what we're doing now.
Fairfield Fire Department, on what they're wanting,
Mhm.
I'm looking at 6 different companies. Because it's, some of it's a cabinet, some of it's a rack, some of it's bunker gear, da. Is that gonna have to be bid separately?
Probably, because they don't come all from the same company. So that's why I'm saying, we're gonna come back on these little short things and
Andy, you mind if
decide.
I look at it? You mind if I look at that paper real quick?
Yeah, I got it in one, and work, whatever. Sure,
We got to go off.
we got all of it.
Get that right.
But we
bid.
So, now, I don't know where they're just finding all this, but a lot of this stuff here, one company could bid for.
Okay, I'm trying to say,
A lot of the
Well,
stuff,
now,
except
keep in
for here.
mind, that Grant Works is gonna write up all these
Right.
requests for proposals for us.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we're gonna come back and talk about all those little things.
Okay.
All right,
Yeah.
let's talk about the water situation now.
Okay, boy.
The water, so we're pretty much set on the things that we've talked about, going out for bids. And then when the bids come back, we'll be looking at that. Okay. We had originally thought maybe if we could look at something, like you said, to kind of narrow it down to like either a generator for each one or something along those lines. But, I know y'all had sent in for 2 generators, isn't that right, for Turlington?
Yes, because we have 2 different well sites.
Uh-huh. That was at $150,000, the 2 of them.
And I think that's outrageous too. But
Well,
I
that's
thought that was
outrageous,
the
but
bid.
that's what, yeah.
Well, another question about the generators for the water wells is, when we reach out to somebody, is that generator, is it pre-engineered? And I would think it would be, if you're buying a generator from a company that builds generators, the person doing the installation has a license through the state of Texas.
Oh, yes. I mean,
does
that came from a certified electrician that we've used for years from,
But because of these rules we have to follow, and when you really dig into it, they want an engineer to tell you if you can buy a system to fill SCBA bottles. You know, I mean, they want everything engineered, and so if these generators for water wells as well as the warming stations and fire departments, as long as we know they're pre-engineered and an electrician's gonna sign off on it, so that we don't have to hire an engineer to say, yes, you can put this generator with this automatic switch on that building.
Well, hopefully we can put that in our request for proposals.
Right, then we should, yes, we should.
Yeah, so that whenever we get that, whenever they send us back, their bid, it should be included in there.
Lloyd, you're talking about like the engineers like from Fontaine and Associates out of Palestine that started our whole water system and drew all the plans and knows everything that we have to
We're
have
trying
to
to
make
not
that
have
work.
to use them.
Pardon?
We're trying to not have to use them
Okay.
to
For a whole
have
new-
a
for a whole
generator
new deal,
installed,
yeah.
because it's just a waste of money, you know.
Well, that bid came strictly from an electrician that does all of our electrical work.
But when we do go out for requests for proposals, we want to be sure that that's in there, that it is engineered for the type of, pumps.
Pumps, heaters, and lights.
Yeah. I'll look
I
into
talked
all
with,
of that.
I talked with South Freestone County this morning, and they have submitted grants to purchase 4 generators.
Glad you brought that up. I thought about that.
And
There are grants out there for every water system, and so, I'm sorry, you go ahead.
Oh, wait a minute.
I know that, Ward Prairie has already sent in their requests also, their applications. Have y'all sent in an application?
We have not, but I do know where to send it to on a certain thing, and like I was telling some of y'all, I talked to Kelly Tice because they've had generators at Butler for a long time.
Mhm.
And Kelly used,
They use Fontaine.
well, they used the Grant place out of Palestine, and she said it took 2 years
Mhm.
to get an answer and to get us their grant.
Okay. Well, we were
I don't know if
hoping,
they're doing them any faster now or not.
I know they all had just been sending them in recently, but I think probably our best bet is to see, be sure everybody sent one in, and then if you can get it through that grant, then maybe there's something else that we could do for the water system. You know, if you're gonna get a grant for the generators, there's no need for us to buy a generator. If you're getting a grant for the generator already, then we could do something else that would help the water system.
well, the 2-year problem is if it does take that long. Now, did you say that y'all have gotten a response from y'all?
South Freestone County has gotten response, three responses, the last one being, they were requesting photos of the sites where the generators would be going. They had already previously requested information as far as what size electric motors, heaters in the building, lights, so that they could basically size up the generator for each location. So it wouldn't all be the same. He told me that they had, at one place, they may have a well, so you've got the pump that's downhole in the well, but then at the surface, there's booster pumps, which are keeping pressure on the lines. Whereas at the one just south of Teague, there's just one pump, which is downhole. It feeds the water tower, and so it's the hydrostatic that's putting pressure on the lines. So that's a smaller generator at that location versus the location that's got 2 booster pumps. And the difference being, he said, on a 50 kW install was about 70,000 versus 100 kW install, 140,000.
Twice as high.
So,
Big.
are we thinking that we need to have a little more information on the water co-op request and see where we're going on the generators, and then if we're gonna provide something there or in a different way? Now, the generators we're talking about for the emergency stations and all of that are totally different type generator than what we're talking about for the water people. Am I right?
Yes.
What water company does John Fryer work with?
Ward crew.
You got him down for a generator?
He's asking for
requesting
2.
one. However, 2. However, they have sent their requests in, so I told them, I thought we'd probably wait and see if they got it. And that, then we'd be looking at that. Yeah. Originally,
We've got
way
2
back
years.
when.
2 years.
How long did they say, Karen? Didn't they say we had 4 years to spend it?
2 years to obligate it, 4 years to spend it.
4 years and 10 months.
Yeah,
is
so
what-
we have time on that. All right, is everybody in agreement then for us to go out for bids for these other things that we've talked about
Yes,
this
ma'am.
morning? Do you want to make any changes or whatever, additions, and then we'll come back and look at these other things, but we'll get these started. Okay.
I talked to Nancy Pleasant Grove this week, water system. If you got, there's 254 counties, state of Texas, and every rural water system got that mandated letter. So,
There ain't gonna be enough generators.
Where you gonna get them at? It's gonna take longer before you can get
I
that.
talked to a guy the other day, and he
Gonna be
said
worse
at
than
least 18 months.
Yeah,
to
for
get
the
the
water
water.
generators, but
And y'all still have something written.
they could be, and they may still be for 2 years sitting out there.
So
All
anyhow,
right, so y'all are,
so the price going up on the generator, you bet on that.
I'm good with
I
it.
guess-
Everybody got to have it.
And we're gonna talk about the water things at a later time.
yes, we're gonna do a little
Okay.
more,
Well, we need
get a little
more
more
details,
information
yeah.
on who's actually applied for it, and, because if they can get those, I mean, they're expensive, the 60 to 70,000. There's probably other things that we
They're
might
gonna be
look
going
at.
in town and give them.
Don't be more than that, you can't get one.
So,
We can comment now.
no, we're still on this comment. All right. And a new ambulance for Fairfield and T. Go out for bids for that.
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, any comments?
We're in comments now.
I voted Monday afternoon at T,
Mhm.
and I've been voting for some county all my life. That's about the slickest voting deal.
Yeah, I
The
voted.
people, the machines,
Great,
Good, good.
everything.
great.
I voted the T2 and it was real smooth.
New machine.
They said they've had a really good turnout so far too.
Good.
Yeah.
I have a couple of things. Yesterday, I went to the Senior Citizen Center in the Fairfield Rotary Club, donated some items for their kitchen up there. And the food, the food was excellent. The staff did a good job cooking food, and some kids from Fairfield fixed the dessert. And I have no idea what it was, but it was excellent. And this Saturday from 4 to 7.
Yes.
Curry is having their
Curry.
chili supper, and then Southern Oaks will be having theirs coming up, in a few weeks.
March the 12th.
Ma'am,
March the 12th.
is that 2 weeks?
Okay, we have a motion to adjourn, I want to tell you something. All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Adjourn. We're moving on.